The wrestling world is in absolute chaos right now, and if you haven't seen what went down on Monday Night Raw, you need to drop everything and pay attention, because what we witnessed last night wasn't just a match, it was a statement. It was a declaration of war, and Rhea Ripley, the woman who calls herself the most dominant force in WWE, may have just met her match. Welcome back to WrestleScope, where we break down the biggest, most controversial moments in professional wrestling. Let me ask you something right now, and I need you to answer this in the comments below. How is WWE going to justify bringing back AJ Lee just to let her destroy their current top star in the most vicious attack we've seen in years? Because here's what nobody's talking about. Rhea Ripley, the woman who has demolished every opponent put in front of her, the woman who has been untouchable for months, was left in a pool of her own blood in the middle of that ring last night. And the worst part, WWE medical staff had to stop the match. They had no choice but to call it off because the crimson mask covering Rhea's face was too much even for them. But here's where it gets really interesting. And this is where I need you to stay with me because the conspiracy theories are already flying. Was this planned? Was this a shoot that went too far? Or did AJ Lee just go completely off script and decide to send a message that she's back to reclaim what was stolen from her during her absence? Let's rewind and break down exactly what happened, frame by frame, because this story is deeper than what you saw on your screen. For weeks now, we've been hearing whispers, rumors, speculation about AJ Lee's return. Some people thought it was just internet fantasy booking. Others believed she'd come back for a nostalgia pop and maybe a Hall of Fame induction. But nobody, and I mean nobody, expected this level of intensity. The show opened normally. Rhea Ripley came out to address the UWE universe, talking about how there's no woman alive who can step to her level. Classic Rhea, confident, dominant, intimidating. She's holding that microphone like a weapon, pacing the ring. And then the place erupted. The Allstate Arena in Chicago lost their minds. AJ Lee's music hit, and for a moment, just a brief moment, everyone thought this was going to be a feel-good return. Maybe a promo exchange. Maybe AJ would hype up a match at a future pay-per-view. But the look in AJ's eyes told a completely different story. She marched down that ramp with purpose, with rage. And when she grabbed a microphone, she didn't waste time with pleasantries. She got straight to the point. You want to know why I'm back? Because someone needs to remind this generation what a real dominant woman looks like. Shots fired. Rhea, to her credit, didn't back down. She stepped right up to AJ, forehead to forehead, and told her that the women's division evolved without her and that she was yesterday's news. That's when AJ struck first. A brutal slap across Rhea's face that echoed through the arena. And just like that, we had a brawl on our hands. An impromptu referee ran down and suddenly we had an unsanctioned match on our hands. But this wasn't wrestling, folks. This was a fight. This was personal. Within the first 2 minutes, both women were trading stiff strikes. AJ hit a shining wizard that would have decapitated most people. Rhea responded with a headbutt that looked like it could have broken AJ's nose. But then, around the 6-minute mark, things got ugly. AJ set up for the Black Widow submission, but Rhea powered out and sent AJ face first into the exposed turnbuckle. When AJ turned around, there was already a small cut above her eye. The crowd gasped. But AJ? AJ smiled. That's when everything changed. AJ grabbed a steel chair from ringside, and before the referee could intervene, she cracked it across Rhea's skull. The sound alone made people in the front row cover their ears. Rhea crumpled to the mat, and when the camera zoomed in, there it was. Blood. Not just a little trickle. We're talking a gusher flowing from a cut across Rhea's forehead. The kind of blood you see in hardcore matches from the Attitude Era. The kind that makes you wonder if someone went too far. The referee immediately called for the bell and signaled for medical attention. But AJ wasn't done. She locked in the Black Widow on a bleeding, barely conscious Rhea Ripley. Security had to rush the ring to pull AJ off. The image of Rhea Ripley, the unshakable, unstoppable nightmare clutching her face as blood seeped through her fingers, is something that will be burned into wrestling history. Now, here's where things get really complicated, and this is why I need you to drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Medical update. According to WWE's official statement, Rhea Ripley received 12 stitches backstage and is currently under medical evaluation for a possible concussion. They're saying she'll be out of action indefinitely pending further tests. But here's what's interesting. Rhea posted on social media just 3 hours after the show ended with a photo of her stitched up forehead and the caption, "You think this stops me? I'm just getting started." So was she okay? Physically, she'll recover. But mentally, Rhea Ripley has never been embarrassed like this. She's never been made to look vulnerable. And you know she's gonna want revenge. AJ Lee's motivation? In a backstage interview that aired later in the show, AJ was unrepentant. She said, and I quote, "For years I watched from home as my legacy was erased, as new stars took credit for doors I kicked down. Rhea Ripley represents everything I fought against, someone who was given opportunities instead of having to claw for them. Last night was just the beginning. I'm back to take what's mine." Whoa. Triple H released a statement saying that AJ Lee's actions were completely unacceptable and that there will be consequences. But let's be real. Those consequences will probably be a massive pay-per-view match that'll draw huge numbers. The internet is split right down the middle. Some people are calling this the most exciting return in years. Others are saying AJ went too far and that the blood was unnecessary. Twitter is a war zone right now with hashtag Team Rhea and hashtag Team AJ trending simultaneously. But let's zoom out for a second and talk about what this really means for WWE's future. Women's Division Revolution 2.0. AJ Lee was part of the original women's revolution in WWE. She fought for respect, for equal time, for better storylines. Now she's back to challenge the generation that benefited from her battles. This isn't just a feud, it's a commentary on legacy, respect, and generational warfare. We're only a few months away from WrestleMania season. Could we be looking at Rhea Ripley versus AJ Lee on the grandest stage of them all? The story writes itself. The veteran returning to prove she still has it versus the current superstar defending her throne. This isn't just about Rhea and AJ. Every woman on the roster is watching this. Charlotte Flair just posted a cryptic tweet. Becky Lynch responded with a fire emoji. Bianca Belair said she can't wait to see how this plays out. The entire women's division is about to be elevated by this feud. Now, I'm going to say something that might make some of you angry, but it needs to be said. This is exactly what WWE needed. For months, we've been complaining about predictable storylines, about the same matches over and over, about a lack of intensity. Well, we just got intensity. We got unpredictability. We got real emotion. Yes, the blood was shocking. Yes, maybe they went a little too far. But you know what? You're watching this video right now. You're engaged. You're feeling something. And that's what wrestling is supposed to do. I've seen some people online saying this was disrespectful to Rhea, that it made her look weak. I completely disagree. Getting attacked and bloodied by a returning legend doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And the story of Rhea's comeback from this will be legendary. So, is Rhea Ripley okay? Physically, she'll recover. But mark my words, the Rhea Ripley we see when she returns will be different. She'll be angrier. She'll be more dangerous than we've ever seen before. And AJ Lee? She just proved that her time away from WWE didn't dull her edge one bit. If anything, she came back with something to prove, and she proved it in the most brutal way possible. This feud is going to dominate the wrestling conversation for months. This is going to be talked about for years, and we were all here to witness the beginning. But I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Was AJ Lee justified in her attack, or did she go too far? Can Rhea Ripley recover from this embarrassment, or is AJ exposed to weakness? Where do we go from here? And the big question, who do you want to win this feud? If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay on top of every twist and turn in this incredible storyline, smash that like button right now. Subscribe to WrestleScope and hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment of the chaos. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know, because this is the kind of moment that reminds us why we fell in love with professional wrestling in the first place. I'm your host, and this has been WrestleScope, where we covered the realest moments in wrestling. Until next time, keep watching, because you never know what's going to happen next.